got Kenneth Gray. He's a senior lecturer at the University of New Haven, and he's a retired special agent with the FBI. He joins us live from Madison, Connecticut. Professor, thank you so much for your time, for joining us here on the news. My first question is based on the pace of this investigation. I know FBI officials, or officials rather, in the city have been interviewing people who knew the suspected attacker. I believe they are either very close to going into his home where he lives to see what maybe they'll give them clues as to exactly what his intentions were. What are they exactly looking for before they can definitively say that this was an act of terror?
So in a situation like this, what you're trying to do is develop the entire background of the person who is the attacker. So they will be drilling down by doing interviews of family members, of neighbors, of colleagues. They will be going out to where he was working at and interview people there at his workplace. They will be looking for any type of computers that he may have in his residence and do a look at the hard drives of those computers. Any phones that he may have that will also be exploited for any type of intelligence that can be derived from examining them. All of that will be used to try to build the background and try to put together a motivation for Mr. Den-Jabbar. As far as trying to link him to the group, there's not necessarily a link that we're going to find. The flag was there that shows some support for ISIS, but he may be self-recruited.
Speaking of that recruitment process, how exactly does that work based on the FBI's investigations, past and present? How does someone become influenced to do something like this?
So a person who is self-recruited, they start accepting grievances that are placed on the air, on the internet. They see it as something that they want to try to correct, and they decide to take on the actions of the group that they are aligned with and try to get justice for them. So a person can actually find themselves supporting a group like ISIS without ever talking to anybody actually in ISIS, or they may come in contact with an ISIS member and get recruited by that group actively themselves. But a person can nonetheless recruit themselves without actually talking to anybody in the group by self-recruiting.
Are you concerned that there seems to be every year these recurring incidents of terrorism-linked episodes across the U.S. and the U.S. is, I mean, obviously it's a huge country, but the U.S. is having these issues time and time again. How does it eventually deal with this on a permanent basis?
So with 9/11, we declared war on terror, even though there had been terror attacks even before 9/11. That was really the beginning of the war on terror. Ever since 9/11, there has been, as you point out, a steady number of cases of terrorism throughout the United States, usually at a low level, but nonetheless a continual attacks like that of people who align themselves with foreign terrorist groups and decide to carry out acts on their own here in the United States. It is at a level where the United States can deal with it by being ever vigilant and by doing investigations when these events occur. But it is nonetheless a low-level threat, but it's an ongoing threat that needs to be dealt with on a reoccurring basis.
Interesting. Professor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.